So here we are, we're on to part 3 of Obla-Di, Obla-Da, and I'm just going to go through a few little parts here that I think are quite important in the song that you can include in your own playing. Capo is still at fret number 3. Now the first thing is the intro. So before we start playing our chord of G, there's a little piano line, that some chords that I think is John Lennon. I think it's John Lennon playing this on the piano. And it sounds something along the lines of before we start going into the main sort of riff for the intro. So all I'm doing there, you can include this if you want, is I'm making up this particular chord shape. I suppose it's technically from the cage system, it's the C shape, but anyway, I'll go through that in more detail in future lessons. For now, if you can hold down the second, with your second finger, the second string at the 3rd fret, with your first finger, fret 2 on the 3rd string, and then we're going to have our 3rd finger at fret 4 on the 4th string. And we just want to, because we're sort of imitating a piano, we just want to try and only play those three strings. We can then just slide that shape down 1 fret, slide it again down 1 fret. Now the first finger's not needed because the capo takes its place, and then we can just take those fingers away and play the same strings. So that would sound like, and then we're okay for the chord of G. I'd recommend, just for the speed of it, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, 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 down. Like that sort of, that wasn't very good. Something along those lines. And then we're into G. So that leads me on to the second bit that I think is quite interesting, which is Paul McCartney's bass line. Just lush, totally lush. And we can imitate that on the guitar quite nicely. Whenever we're playing the chord of G, we could put our first finger at the 3rd fret. This is again in relation to the capo, so technically it's fret 6. But with the capo, we're counting up from there, so it's going to be fret 3. Fret 3 on that 6th string. And then wherever we're going to put our first finger, we want to then go up 2 frets higher and slide with our 3rd finger 2 frets higher from there. So we were on fret 3, we're then going to go to fret 5 and slide from there up to fret 7. And if we get the timing right, we don't necessarily hear the fret 5. We don't want to hear that note and then a slide. We just want to hear like the slide and then the fret 7. Better than that though, hopefully. Now, because we've slid, our first finger is now ready to play the fret 5 on the 5th string. Okay? If we just repeat that, there's Paul McCartney's bass line. Now, whenever we have to go to the chord of D, we can go from this fret 5 on the 5th string and do kind of the same thing, but now everything's dropped across the strings. We can go back to G. Now when we go to the chord of C, we can go from fret 3 on that 5th string, ba, 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 da, da, back to G, ba, 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 D, ba, 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 back to G. So if I put that all together, we have this: Desmond has a power in the marketplace, Marley is a singer in the band. Desmond says to Marley, girl, I like your face, and Marley says this as she takes him by the hand. Okay, so whenever we're having the chord of G, we would play from that 3rd fret of the 6th string. Whenever we're playing the chord of D, we'd be starting from fret 5 on the 5th string. And whenever we're playing the chord of C, we would be playing that riff from fret 3 on the 5th string. So that's those two parts. The last bit I just want to draw your attention to is there's a lovely brass line that happens during the middle bits of the song. So it's the bit where we have that, in a couple of years they have built a home, sweet home. And then normally, or in video 2, I was getting to play the chord of G and then a G7 before we go to the chord of C. So by all means stick with that, but this lovely little brass line that we can sort of try and imitate on the guitar. Try and do something like that perhaps. So what we have is we're going to be holding down the 4th and the 2nd and the 1st strings always. So what we have is we're going to be counting up to, this will be fret 12 essentially, all the way up. You could think of it as fret 15, but because of the capo, fret 12. We're going to hold down with our 2nd and 3rd fingers, the 4th string and the 2nd string. And then with our 1st finger, we're going to hold down the 1st string. Okay, that's going to be at fret 13 or fret 10, and we're just going to play from string 4 downwards. So we should have an open 3rd string, and that will ring out all the way through. We can then, after playing that 3 times, slide everything down 2 frets. Okay, so we have this. Bit of a shuffle of the fingers, but we're now going to go to here. Okay, so let me just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're now 7 frets up from the capo. 1st finger at fret 7, fret 8 on the 2nd string, jumping over the 3rd string, and now that will be fret 9 on the 4th string. And then we're going to slide that down 2 frets. And then we should hopefully get to the chord of C. So all of that together would be, in a couple of years they have built a home, sweet home, up here. To C, and a couple of kids running in the yard. And then remember we have this. Now there's a nice little bass line that comes in there. So for the chord of D, you could do something like that. So again, this is just towards the end of the middle. After we've done our, we've got the chord of D. We can then turn that into a D with a C in the bass. So we're just going to take off our 2nd finger here and hold down the 5th string at the 3rd fret. Okay, and these are all sort of like little passing chords, so they don't necessarily sound great on their own. We can then move the 5th string down to the 2nd fret, sorry, the 3rd fret down to the 2nd fret on that 5th string. I've sort of reshuffled my 1st and 2nd fingers round there, and then we can take our 1st finger off. I'm trying to stay away from string number 1 at this point. So we'd have this D, and then a C, in the bass, that is, so it's a D/C, then it's a B/D, sorry, a D/B, and then it's a D/A. Let me just repeat all that just to make sure I've got that all right. So we've got a D, a D/C, a D/B, and then a D/A. So all of that middle all together, we could do, in a couple of years they have built a home, sweet home. We go up to our little brass line. And a couple of kids running in the yard. So this is now our G with a D in the bass. Desmond and Molly Jones. And then our new little part here, D, C, B, and an A in the bass. So good luck with that. Of course, let me know if there's anything else that you'd like me to cover in any of these songs, or in fact, if there's any other songs that you'd like me to do by the Beatles and include in my Learn the Guitar with the Beatles series, then please let me know. Obviously, like, subscribe, share, do all of that sort of stuff, and drop me a comment if you like. Anyway, I wish you all the best. Good luck with that.